Welcome to another episode of last week's Comics Today. I have a small stack this week. I think I have a small stack next week as well. That's fine. We'll get through it. I think I'm in one of those uneven times again where I'll get 10 books one week and then 5 the next. So, whatever. It's fine. We're going to start this week with Sanction, which I think is book 2 of Mugshots being the first. And then I think there's 1 or 2 more of new number ones that are coming out that I'm not really sure about. And thankfully, the 2 so far are both excellent. I'm recommending them. So Mugshots is great. That one came out, I want to say, 2 weeks ago. And now Sanction is also great. This is, so far it's a murder mystery. It might turn into something bigger. It's hard to tell. But we're starting in the USSR 80s. And there is a murder. There's a couple of cops. This guy shows up. He's like, I don't want to deal with this. And he calls this dark-haired guy and says, you deal with it. And it's great. It's great. I don't... there's this thing, which is clue number 1. I feel like I know the author. I should have... I feel like I know the artist, and I should have done my work and looked them up beforehand, because this art style looks incredibly familiar. I just don't recognize the name. The name seems familiar, but not in a way that I can place. Anyway, it's a murder mystery. It's an investigation. It's a Russian investigation. And as I said, it might turn into more because, of course, there is a tack board, and there's no string yet, but... there it goes. So one picture on the board, and then he adds a second picture, and this guy's like, don't... the dynamic between these two guys, I suppose, are leads. He's more lead, but this guy didn't go away after he passed off the case, so I think they will be working together. There's an in-the-story reason for that as well that I haven't yet discussed, but... neither of them are this guy on the cover who's holding an axe. So I believe this might be our villain, the killer. It's a tiny bit weird to display him like this. But whatever. It's a well-done issue. I'm going to say a 5-issue story. I get these things wrong all the time. But it's well done. It's from Man Cave, and I recommend it. Also, from Man Cave... they're putting out some good stuff recently. We've got the second issue of When the Blood Has Dried. And long story short, the first issue is about an adventurer who is betrayed by her team, and she winds up... there's a time lapse that happens, and she winds up opening a bar in a small town, and then that adventurer guild winds up coming to that small town, and she's like, oh shit. And that's what this scene here is, where... they lock eyes, they have a somewhat whispered conversation about, I see you, I know who you are, and yeah, it gets a little tense. But the town has their own agenda. We get this opening sequence, which is, I'm going to say, part memory and part hallucination, part invented. It's well done. I'm very curious to see where this story goes, and I'm enjoying it so far. And Mad Cave, I suppose, is a publisher that I am now paying attention to, which is good. I enjoy great books, and this is off to a great start. Hellblazer, Dead in America. This is kind of strange. So this is actually 4, I will say, stories. It's really 3 stories with a sort of framing device. But not all of them are written by Simon Spurrier, and only one of them is drawn by the regular series artist. So it's 3 shorts. They're about 8 pages each, and there's all of the credits. And it's I almost said the word fun, but I'm not going to use the word fun for a Constantine story. It's 3 shorts as he and his crew are venturing westward, and they are very Constantine-esque. I do especially like the art in this story. And the framing device adds some context. There is a return of this cop and the lady and the kid that were seen previously, I want to say like 2 issues ago, and so like my memory does sometimes work. I do remember things from one month to the next. But get some John McCrea art in here, which is fantastic. It's 3 shorts, so your mileage may vary. I enjoyed them. But it's a break from the main story, and I'd rather just a continuation of the main story, if that makes sense. It's nice, but I'm gonna say unnecessary. So it's good, but it's also kind of a skippable issue. It's a curiosity, I'll say. It's a little strange. World's Finest, issue 27. This is basically full-on mites. There's this great opening page, which I very much enjoy. I am the mite. And the main characters for this issue are predominantly Mixoplix and Batmite, as all of the other mites come to wherever they are. Is this Gotham? There are some guest appearances like Wonder Woman here. There's Metal Men that show up, and a variety of villains, all souped up by their mites. So people are actually getting teleported there. Like Aquaman's like, how did I get here? Same thing for Green Arrow and Merlin over there. But what's going on, so they were trapped in 2 dimensions at the end of the last issue, and Robin gets pulled out. It's a fantastic face, amazing face. These 2 are still trapped in 2 dimensions, and they wind up actually in the 6th dimension. Art's fantastic, as always, by Dan Moore. Huge fan. I don't know that I want to show that page, but there's a surprise ending to this, and I'm into it. The writing remains fantastic, and Mora, whenever he's drawing, there have been some failing issues by other artists, but I love this team, and it's a fantastic issue. Once again, recommended. This is probably my favorite DC book at the moment. It's just so much fun. Conan, issue 11, is, there are some things explained here. So, last issue, there was a conversation between Conan and this guy, and I just want to mention, I love the acceptance of this guy that, I don't know if his whole body is elephant, I think we only see his head, but, you know, there's just this thing walking around with an elephant head, and everyone accepts it, and, like, I find that fantastic. I've been re-listening to some of the Hellboy novels, and one of the things I always liked about Hellboy in that world is the almost universal acceptance of Hellboy as just this demon that's walking around on Earth. Huge guy, red skin, horns, sanded off, but general acceptance of Hellboy. Nobody's freaking out. Nobody freaks out about this guy with an elephant head. It's fantastic. Anyway, so there are teases of things to come, specifically in the conversation with him. There's more, I'm going to say, told here than there was last issue when the conversation actually happened, which is a tiny bit strange, but whatever. Maybe he's just doling out information slowly. I don't know. But there's also, you know, obviously it's a Conan comic, so there's going to be a fight. What they're doing. So, Cull here took some people down into subterranean. Well, that looks fantastic too. There's a civilization underground. That's what they're going towards. People die, and just the art is incredible. The writing is really well done, as always. Whenever these two are working together on this series, the the sum is more than the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And then at the end of this, somebody is shown that has only been mentioned by name so far. So I think things are starting to move more quickly. I don't know if like this is going to wrap up by like maybe not 18, but 24 maybe. It seems like things are kind of inching towards a conclusion if everything has been building towards this Blackstone event that is still coming. It's hard to tell. Like I thought when the series started, it was just going to be like a Conan's Adventures story. But everything seems to be connected. Each arc is related to this Blackstone. And I don't know, that seems to put in my mind sort of a finite end point on this. So I'm very much enjoying it. I hope it continues for however long it does. I am, and likely will be, enjoying it, and broadly recommend it. Especially all of the arcs done by De La Torre. Yeah. Lastly, the end of Cobra Commander. So this is issue 5. You can see, obviously, a Destro there in the reflection. And there's a lot that sort of gets pieces into place, I'm going to say. So this is the meeting of Destro and Cobra Commander. And by the end of this, it seems like it's kind of the beginning, the prologue to the show. Things are in place. So between this and Duke, each side, and I'm going to say there are 3 sides at the moment, possibly 4 or 5. Anyway, the Joes, who are currently unnamed, it's just Duke and others, have their mission regarding the Cybertronians on Earth. Destro has his plan. Cobra Commander, the first issue starts, and Megatron is already in the possession of Cobra Law. And there's references to Cobra Commander being responsible for that, but it's thus far unseen, and I imagine at some point we'll get an explanation for that, how that came to be. But Cobra Law is one of those factions I was talking about, and they have their own mission statement. They see the Cybertronians as their enemies because they are metal, and these guys are anti-metal, which is fantastic. It's a great setup. It's kind of like the old commercials that I'm thinking about are, you got your chocolate in my peanut butter. No, you got your peanut butter in my chocolate. This is the mashup of Transformers and G.I. Joe, and they've done this before, obviously, but it is meshing in a way that to me makes a lot of sense, and it fits together well, even if there's still a couple of things that I'm unsure about, especially in that 6-month time gap regarding Duke and whatever. This is great. It's a fantastic ending. Destro is one of the most interesting characters in both of those series, Duke and Cobra Commander. I will probably get his series. I'm still undecided about Scarlet. I will probably get the first issue of that. I hear it's good. I hear from one person whose opinion I have no extra knowledge of. I'll get it. I'll see what it's like. I don't know. This is good, though. If you are at all interested in Joes and the mashup with Transformers, specifically, in this case, the Cobra side of things, Cobra and Destro, then grab the trade. It should be out in a couple of months. It's a great ending. So that is everything that I got this week. I haven't even thought about pick of the week. I'm going to say, I think I'm going World's Finest. So a lot of this stuff is good. I particularly enjoyed Sanction, which is a great first issue. Conan is also great. Cobra Commander is great. But as far as like most fun, World's Finest. This tends to be one of the first books that I read each month when this comes out, because I'm just like, well, this should be a pretty quick read and a lot of fun. And it's generally true. it is true here, and it's why I'm recommending it. So this is a great issue, but all this stuff is good in its own way. As always, I get all of my books from a local comic shop. If you don't know where yours is, you can use this URL to find the one closest to you. Thanks for watching.